after that. And then poof, it was gone. After 2014, the title was no longer, women's body was kicked out of the Olympia. But then shout out to a man who I'm a fan of. And anytime I got to do this, every time I think about him and what he did and step it up and giving women's bodybuilding a fighting chance, I always got to do this because I can't help it. This is just it's your high play. My man here, Mr. Jake Wood. Yo Jake. I want that money. I want that gun. Jake came in and he took over the Olympia. He bought it and he brought back women's bodybuilding till we have the current and the most currently the Miss Olympia champion, and that is my girl. I love her. She's so beautiful. The amazing Miss Andrea Shaw. I know, guys. I think she's amazing. I mean, but the history of this division, the history of the women that have been around it is just expansive. But there's quite a few ladies who, in my opinion, deserve the opportunity to be Miss Olympia. I mean, I know the judges are particular about who you want to pick, who you want to choose, but there's some ladies I feel like this should have been a chance. So, in your opinion, because you've been following for long, and I'm a little older than you, but you've been around for a while. Who do you think deserve opportunity to be Miss Olympia, in your opinion?
I don't know. I mean, there has been a lot of ladies over the past decades that came since criteria and the judging and requirements have changed. There's like a handful that could deserve. I mean, I know I'm starting to see some progress, and I think we should start with the most recent. I think Ashley Jones was close to reaching that, surprisingly, and I remember, I do remember Lavanya really made some major improvements since last time. She's really, I think they were close to reaching that title. To be honest.
Yeah, I give it to Ashley. Ashley, she's just about there. Could she, in the future, win it? Depending is how long Andrea's going to stay dominant. Ashley, she's been in the game for quite a long time. She was figure before she got to be a pro. Then did women's physique, and then she made the switch. And could she be? We never know. The criteria about judging, especially with these women, is very, very it's very to a certain limit. But Ashley I got to meet her a while back, and I think she's a great lady. I hope maybe eventually she get that opportunity. And we can't forget, as you mentioned earlier, Lavinia Barros. Lavinia, she's a young competitor. I think she still has that great opportunity to grow and hit that level. But again, Andrea just dominant, and you cannot deny her. We have some comments here. Shout out to my man Jeff. He's coming through. Jeff says, "Hey guys, hey Jeff." Also, Jeff says this. He says, "Should I give the announcement now? Is that okay? I give it on the chat." Well, yeah. What's your announcement? And his announcement, he says this. He says, "I'm trying to go to my first bodybuilding show, but it's going to be hard." Oh, brother, I know, the finances.
I know. I remember how nervous I was when I first went to the Tampa Pro. I wasn't sure, but I had a nice first impression when I first got here during the first time. But, some of the athletes were pretty nice. I felt welcome. They like I was like one of the few people who actually physically attend the show. First fans who physically attend there. Like, well, that's what they need to support.
Mhm. I remember my first experience went with Savannah back in 2022, and it was a great experience. I got to meet quite a few ladies. Some of the ladies I did interviews with, and even just the experience of being there. I mean, there were some things I wish I did a little more, but it was my first time. I just didn't want to be. I remember one time I was sitting outside, and I got to see Asha Hattie. She was walking with her husband. And probably wanted to say, but I didn't want to bother her because I know she was in the zone because that was the year she won. That was the last time she won her Olympic qualification. After she made a retirement, and I was Donna Salee. We talked online quite a bit, and she came in. I was taking pictures, and she come in. I was caught in my eye, and she smiled and took her tongue out and gave me a hug. One person was there who named her "Do Not Speak." It didn't click. And I got to meet Sheena Oleg, get interviews with a couple of ladies who do interviews with. I even got to meet Irene Anderson, and now I got the interview a while back. I mean, it was a great experience for me, and I'm hoping, like I said, I made an announcement. I will tell you where I'm going to go into, and I'm actually going to 3 shows. And this is for me. I really want to get myself out there. I know the financial part is hard because I don't have the luxury of a job like I used to, and But folks, as you know, you see a taper coming through, and I got to delete I got to delete that GoFundMe one because I don't have that anymore. But I do have my PayPal, my Cash App, and I need to put in my Venmo's here. So you see those tapers, and if you want to donate to help me cover the cost of my trip, hey, I appreciate that, but I got to delete the GoFundMe because that one is dead. So we have a comment, my man Jeff. He says this. Um, I wish I could do an interview with a bodybuilder on somebody's channel besides mine. Well, that's the thing. You can do your own stuff. That's why you have your own channel. You can do whatever you want, wherever you please. Also, shout out to my man here. Just says, can you tell David and Nicole that? Well, whenever they want to talk. Oh, here it is. My man Jeff just popped in.
Happy Monday. Excuse me.
Oh, Jeff.
Hey
Jeff.
guys. So the big announcement is that in the future, George, if you need a guest host, maybe me and Alex, or maybe me and Joshua would take over to do some interviews. So, ladies,
well,
like Nicole and Beverly, contact me.
I appreciate that. I do my interview solo, but I do appreciate you coming through. I let them know. We got here. Shout out to our man Joshua with the Empire, Women's Bible Empire Nation says, "Hey, what's good, George and Alex? The next Miss Olympia should be Lavinia Barros. She puts in work. She promotes herself a lot and does special guest appearances. She can definitely be the face of WBB." Yeah, I like Olivia Bowers. I got to see her when she was at Tampa. We have here my man here. He's always made the scene of the crowd. My man KL the Wanderer. He just did an interview with a lovely lady of Asian descent. I think she's, as my other guy would say, she is beautiful.
Yes, he was. It just me. In fact, KL has 2 interviews tomorrow. KL has 2 interviews tomorrow. I may actually hype on and say, hello, beautiful. Why don't you come on George's channel?
Well, one of the ladies he's interviewed Ryan Martin. I interviewed her last week. So. And the other lady, I don't know her yet. I saw he posted it.
But she looks pretty. So, KL, you can tell her, hey, I need a wedding ring. Okay, you guys have a good time. I don't know what's going on. Hey, it's just like a Monday. It's just like a Monday.
Yeah, Monday. Yeah, Mondays. I remember when I used to work. Mondays wasn't so bad when I used to work. I mean, I could take Monday, but Tuesday, I don't know. Tuesday was that bitch. I mean, you feel like it's not really yet the weekend, but you got to go through Tuesday. Monday can go by fast before you know it, but Tuesday likes to drag. It's nothing other than when I used to work at the club. There was $2 Tuesday. The guys come in for $2, and then you can come in like this. You can come in before 7:00 and get in free. Sure. After 7, it's $2. And then after 11, you got to pay the regular door fee. Usually, sometimes be $10. So, folks, as you know, as I talked about so many Asian ladies who could have been Miss Olympia. Shout out to my man, I think is Barros. He says, Bev Francis. And that's the first way I want to start with. Bev Francis,
Nicole? What about Nicole? What about Nicole as a guest? I need to go. What about Nicole as a guest? Could she be Miss Olympia?
Which Nicole are you talking about?
The one that we had yesterday, Nicole.
No. Nicole could never be Miss Olympia. No. She competes in OCB, and plus,
she could still be Miss Olympia.
The OCB Miss Olympia, like if you go to Yorkin, but the real Miss Olympia, the true Miss Olympia, no, I'm sorry. I love Nicole. I appreciate her coming through, but no, we gotta be realistic. We gotta be realistic. I know that's had a dream, but we gotta be realistic. Let's be realistic. You gotta come down to earth because no one's gonna beat right now. No one's gonna beat Andrea. She's too dominant. She's like
I can beat her. Andrea, I tell you to an interview.
Andrea, Nicole could be Andrea.
Sorry.
Nicole could be Andrea.
Just be realistic. So as we just my man here, about Babos, you mentioned, Beth Francis. Beth Francis has been in the game for quite some time. She had a couple of close calls as Miss Olympia. Back in, I would say, between 90 and 91 was a couple of close calls. She retired after 90, but I think she had one of those a beautiful physique. I remember her last Miss Olympia, which was the 91. She came in because one thing she did was she tried to soften herself to be more feminine, but she came in as a beast. I mean, her physique. This is, I would say, honestly, if you look at her, she would be considered more like women's physique if you look at the criteria now. But Bev was an amazing person. I mean,
Ahead of her
um, yeah, I think honestly she was. Yeah, I would say she was ahead of the time. I mean, there was that many women like her. I mean, this is from her. This is her back. I mean, her back pose. Wow. I mean, she's just so amazing. She's had a great personality about her. The most muscular, aka the crab pose, which is as often, if you're a schmo, this is one of the most eroticizing pose that's done by a woman in bodybuilding. Because you get the focus of the shoulders, the traps, the overall look. Bev was just had a great personality about her. As you know, the history of Bev, she actually was in track and field for quite some time. Australia was a champion in that, and then in '84, she was at an event called the Vegas Cup. It was or the Caesar Cup. It was Vegas Caesar Cup, and it was part of the most I think one of the most popular documentaries on women's bodybuilding, the Pumping Iron 2. Quite a few ladies you had there, former champion, two-time champion Richard McLeish, future Miss Olympia at that time, Carla Dunlap, so many other ladies who competed back in the day, and Bev was something different. There she is right there. She was just, I would say, if you look at it, she's kind of like the blueprint of somebody like Sarah Bradley. But so many ladies were just amazing. Was a great look of women's bodybuilding back then. You may have something to say.
thinking.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Mikhail came back. He just wait a minute. Give me a second. Here you go. Mikhail is back. You
Yeah.
know, but Bev was just one of the ladies who came close. I mean, I know she had to one point around about the late to the mid '80s. She had to change her look because they felt like she was too um, you know, masculine in her appearance. So she did soften a little bit. She got hair stitching. She did some little surgeries here and there. Nothing too big, but enough to where it tried to soften her look as a woman. So and what y'all thoughts of Bev Francis? If do you feel like she deserved to be Miss Olympia during her career?
I don't know. I don't
Honestly,
know.
honestly, I know she kind of that was kind of it was controversial at the time when she. But again, I really felt like think this was a new game changer at the time. Maybe I guess that would have been an interesting change in history if she kept going for a couple more few more shows with this level of muscle. I guess, but I guess they were. I think it wasn't up to the standards that I think it was beyond the standards. But I respect her for what she did at the time, and maybe.
Were you about to say something, KL?
Yeah. I'm partially agree with Alex. I think she was different at that time, and so they didn't really like her look in the beginning, and I know that over the years she tried to reach that certain criterias, but it probably was tough. So think I think she probably could have. I don't know if she did second place at one point.
Well, I think at the 90 and 91 was second place, and then she was in the top five in the during the Linda era, not during the Corey Everson era, but that was the highest she got. But I know there was a couple of close calls. I think maybe 80 and maybe 89. But again, it goes back to what the judges wanted. And at the time, Corey Everson was a champion. and
Yeah.
she was very dominant. She had a great look to her, very
Yeah.
feminine, great,
Yeah. She
yeah, and
looked
that's
at
why.
more. She, not to cut you off. She looked at
Go
more
ahead.
appealing to them. As you can see, after she had a career in bodybuilding, she did movies and stuff like that, and so she had that look. I mean, she did have muscle, and I know how Hollywood is with women with muscle, but she had that feminine look where Beth Francis, she didn't really have too much of a feminine look like that. So you know that's all
Mhm.
I'm gonna say.
Yeah, we have a comment from man Jeff. Jeff, he just popped out. He says, "Guys, have a good day. Happy Fourth of July. Appreciate that,
Thank you.
Jeff."
Like this.
Shout, shout. He says, "Sorry, George. Just get decided that you guys are welcoming people like me and other people to do the same thing." Well, thank you. I appreciate it. You know what? This is about as fans, especially of women bodybuilders, female bodybuilders. We appreciate when like when I get comments. I got a comment from one guy. I interviewed his mom last week, and he said, that's my mom. I appreciate the interview. I said, I appreciate that, and people like you, Jeff, who come through, to share your thoughts. Um, Shout out to here. We got here from uh, PLJ. I think that's his name. He says, "Do you support the competitors in women's bodybuilding coming in bigger, or do you think they have to downsize a bit?" Well, women's bodybuilding is the ceiling. I would say. When you look at the other divisions, like especially you look at figure and look at even I would say I would go to the lower end, like divisions like figure, bikini, and wellness, where the girls are getting bigger. They should downsize. Even physique should downsize because we got women right now in physique who should be doing his bodybuilding, but they use that excuse that I'm not big enough. I know, like you can say that, keep saying that, but the fact is, some of those ladies right now are at the level where they, like we just saw Sarah Bradley made that switch. That's a smart thing. Um, Also, you hear from Jeff. He says this. He says, "I think other people should have us so think like this when they have like a discussion series. Any from the fans and the athletes. Yeah, we should do that." And he says, "This is I would love to be a judge." Oh yeah, you think you would? And also, he says this. He says, "Do you guys remember the cartoon Showbiz Bugs? I I'm writing a modern version of it. Showbiz Bugs. I think I don't know, nine. I don't know. Also, we got here. This is from Roy. We got him for a long time. It says, "Hey guys, hey Roy, haven't seen you in a long time. Thanks for coming through." But one young lady who had a great look to her, great physique, great femininity. Too bad she never did get that shot. She came close a couple of times, and that is Anja Langer. If you remember Anja, she's originally
Yeah.
from Germany. She had just a great. I think she was, I think one thing I think she was a little bit undersized. I would say at the time compared to you put against like here you have Ella Van Morris, you got Corey, and you have Anja Langer, and she had a great look to her. One thing was she had, I think, next to we got here right here next to Bev, she had a great set of abs. I think she had a great, smooth, very athletic built. I would say, very attractive young lady. Her career, she competed for at least 2 or 3 more years, and then she stepped away from bodybuilding. Now she's back in Germany. She has a family. She's doing other stuff. She just had an amazing look to her.
Yeah, yeah. I just knew about her like recently. I know she was like second place in the 1988 Miss Olympia.
Yeah, it was close. And I think after '88, that's when she started to step away from bodybuilding. And again, she had just something about her. Just I think she had advantage of youth. She was attractive. She had a beautiful build. I mean, if she was competing today, she would be figure. If you look at the criteria, because or maybe even somebody say even bikini, because you look at the girls bikini now, they're given this condition. But she had a great look to her. I was a fan of hers. I think she had a beautiful body.
Yeah, I tried to reach out to her a bit, but I don't think she was really. She kind of values her private life, so just left her alone.
Yeah, quite a few ladies do step away from sport. And, there's some ladies I can't even find on social media. They only have a Facebook or IG, or you might it might have something like what was that? What was it before Facebook? It was God, um, was it? I forgot the name of it. I had an
I
account, but I
mean,
didn't need to use it.
uh, I
Um,
was about to say, you gonna say something or?
Go ahead, say something.
No, I was. The thing is, it's like when you do kind of want to reach out to these women, man. It's like you you want to like know more about them. Like when you're like interacting, but they're not really like open to like somebody interviewing them and stuff. I mean, that's their right, but at the same time, it's like wow, you want to learn about that person, like what was they going, what were they going through, competing and stuff like that. Their experience basically. I
Hmm.
mean, because it's like a turn page with them, like it, to a point where they're almost forgotten, and I know it's like probably like you could learn from YouTube and all these other things like magazines and stuff like that, but I think you're curious, and so they when they like don't want to do it, it's like oh man, well it's an opportunity. That's the best way I could try to explain.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, because especially us who are fans who follow the sport, and we especially if we've been like I said, I've been following for since the good part of the '80s, and I've seen some ladies that came and gone during their times, and when like I got the opportunity went there, interviewed Sue Price and Nancy Lewis and the late Rhonda Lee Charisma. I mean, those ladies are legends. They competed in the part of the '80s and '90s when I was really growing up and getting really and when I was going to my pubescent age when I discovered these women, and it was to me it's a great opportunity to hear their stories and to share it with people who might be fans out there who say, what's like one person I'm wondering where she is. It's Kim Perez. I mean, she was just amazing. I mean, I said to Nancy that her and Kim kind of looked like they were bookends because it was so much similar. Uh, but she just kind of disappeared. I mean, I'm wondering where she's at, what she's doing. I mean, some others there's some ladies who are on social media. I reached out a couple of times, but they hadn't responded back or not interested in. But I'm patient. Maybe they change their minds. Now, another lady who was just, I would say she was kind of like a bit like Corey in some ways. She was blonde, she was attractive. She even came close to being Miss Olympia a couple of times, but she was competing in the good part of the Corey Everson area and also the part of the Linda Murray area, and that is Sandy Riddell. And Sandy had a great look
yeah, I
to it,
remember.
blonde, tan. She was just amazing physique. One thing about Sandy, she was a firefighter, and if you remember Sandy Dow, I mean,
Yeah, I remember her. I remember her.
I've heard of her, yeah.
yeah, she had a great physique. Some say she was, close to the title a couple of times, especially when she was up against, Corey Everson. She had a couple of shots back in '89, and I think somewhat maybe kind of close in '88. I mean, she kept competing up good part of the '90s, even into the Linda Murray era of women's bodybuilding. You know, um, Here she is on the stage with quite a few ladies that are well known. You have here, wait, it's got to kind of say, you have Linda and you have Sharon Marvel. There's uh, Sandra Blackie, the late, uh, you know, uh, you know, you know, I forgot her name. I hate to forget her name. There's Jackie Priestley. There goes her on stage with Laura Creval. There's Bev and Linda. Shirley Betty right there at the end. Some amazing, beautiful women. I mean, you know, and Sandy came close. I mean, this was. I think she was maybe in the top three that year because Uh, Laura looked great. Sandra looked great. I mean, Bev this is what her last year is. She came in, she was going out like a beast. And this is classic, beautiful women's bodybuilding, beautiful lines, beautiful shapes, amazing women. And Sandy had that. I mean, just amazing. But I just wonder, I think she had a couple of Miss International titles, but never got to main title that was Miss Olympia.
I think mostly getting to shape or into beyond average condition is mental mindset. It's complete focus, and it's not only your diet, but it's your rest, it's your training, it's your whole positive attitude.
I wish I could show all day, but it's a good routine. This back then when they had uh, really good long routines for women's bodybuilding. I mean, uh, you know,
Why they
I
cut it
mean,
short?
hmm?
Why they cut it
Well,
short now?
because back in the day, women's bodybuilding had its own show, and men's had their own show. But then what they did was when they matched make then you had it come in new divisions like fitness and also I think when they started the Olympia weekend, you only had women's bodybuilding, fitness, and men's bodybuilding. And then when you created more divisions, you had to cut for time because women's bodybuilding had their own show, men had
Yeah,
their own show.
yeah, I understand.
So
I
yeah,
understand.
so they cut for time because now you have more divisions. You have over nearly 10 divisions now. We have here, well, folks, we have here a stranger here. We hadn't seen him in a long time. Shout out to a man, balls deep.
Hey, what's up?
He says Andrea got it on lock. I agree with you. Also, he says this. What's up and salute. Thank you, brother. One of his favorite moniker is Chicago in here. Yeah, it's always Chicago in here. And also, he says, Schmo gang, 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 gang,
No,
gang, gang. He got to
no,
say that a long time. And he says, peace and blessings to the chat. Also, we have here something for Roy. Shout out to Roy. He said this. Sarah just needs more meat on her legs. She can beat out Lavinia to place the top three. I don't think she can beat Ashley Andrea. They have elite black genetics. I gotta give you that, brother. Yeah, it's that elite black genetics, hard to beat. Also, he says let's talk about the current athletes. Well, we can talk about it another time, but this is about the ladies who had that close call to being Miss Olympia. We can talk about it another time, but this is about the ladies who came that close, very close, to being the Miss Olympia. Now, one person who I've talked about her because I'm a fan of hers, and she in her career was close. I would say she's like I said, the uncrowned Miss Olympia, and that is Laura Craval. I'm a fan of Laura Craval. She had a beautiful look, beautiful physique. A couple of times she was a first runner-up in a career in women's bodybuilding. Well, just just amazing qualities. And we talked about her last week. I think last week, the week before last, we did the thing about American Muscle, and Laura's just great. Just had a great physique to her, great look to her. This is a picture of her. It was kind of, I think, the most recent pictures. She's married again. Her husband and her, they are into religion. She runs a church. This was a few years ago. This is the most recent picture I can find. If I can find on it's on Girls with Muscles, and it's her with her husband. She was married to another man, Chris Aceto, who is now he's a coach and trainer. Um, Lloyd just had a great physique to her. Being here she is along with Sandra Riddell and also Ellen Van Mars. Just beautiful, as I say, caramel skin. I think she's one of those ladies that she's been a Miss Olympia champion. I'm sorry, Miss International champion. But you never get the opportunity for Miss Olympia.
Laura, she's 5'4", 140, 32 years old, Mario.
And she just got married a few months ago.
Congratulations to her. She married Chris Aceto, a trainer.
That's right. They've been together for a few years already.
I'll tell you what, as I say, she's knocked on the door to the title, but I don't know if she's ever looked better.
I haven't seen her any better than this. She's at her best.
Wait till she shows off her abs, folks. Wait till you see the front shot of the abs. And that back isn't anything to sneeze at either. It's great.
Check out the leg hamstrings too.
Now, to hear that music, in most cases, folks, this is original music from these competitors. They either had the music developed for them or they bought the rights to it. There is a great shot of the lower body of Laura Crevel.
And Joe, her posing has really improved from previous years.
This is her second year that she looks very hard. Second year in a row. This is her fourth overall, Ms. O.
She's a very hard worker, very dedicated to the sport, and keeps coming back. Always improves.
Look at that. Woo! What brings her back, Mario?
I don't know, a true love for the sport.
She was fourth last year, a former world amateur champion. She's got a nice, upbeat performance. She does look good. I liken her to Rich Gaspari of men's bodybuilding because Rich has always been there, always been close, but hasn't been able to slam the door down. Neither has Laura. But I'll tell you what, coming out of the prejudging, she was ranked in the top 5, and you have to respect that.
This just might be her night.
A recent major title for Laura was the 1990 Ms. International. That's a biggie. She won it.
Oh, that shows off the legs and the back.
Oh, that looked
good. As a young man, I had many times had pleasure myself with her pictures. She just had an amazing body. I mean, and that beautiful caramel skin, Shout out to my man Balls Deep. He says this, smash the like button. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Also, he says this, make me a moderator. Well, you are a standard moderator. I don't get you the main moderator, so yeah, keep that. So, we got here. This is Haley, and it's easy. There's the smiley heart eyes. Also, we got here from here. He says you should do an interview with Angela Yo. I would love to, but the thing is, up to her. I mean, I can't. I would love to do an interview with her, but again, it's up to her if she wants to do an interview with me. Shout out to man Roy. He says this. He says Christina could have been Miss Olympia. She's the one who destroyed everything for herself. The worst rebound ever. That's a lot of Christinas. You talking about Christina Mendoza? I don't think so. I like Christina Mendoza, but the problem is she's a problem being inconsistent. She is an attractive lady, but the thing is, one thing she's never really come in is conditioned. And also, again, as my man Big Keith said, she's not as consistent. Now she's stepping down from women's badminton to wellness. She would do well, maybe, maybe not. Maybe she did it maybe a few years ago, probably, but now I don't know. There's so many ladies. What you guys think about Laura Craval? Because I know most of you guys have something to say.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, back in the day, I thought she was attractive. I mean, I don't know if she would have been Miss Olympia, but she was a familiar face. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, same. I do. I try to see what could have placed her top. I think she had the credential. She has the uh, the pieces there. I just feel like there was something that would have you know
Well, I think she had a great look to her. She one thing she did was get breast implants because that kind of affect her overall look because they said that she had probably the worst set because they didn't look as well put together. They're kind of like you're going to get them, you got to get them right. They want to be more a little bit close together, a little bit more. But I think that's one thing that hurt her. So many things that factor into this sport when you go to judging and
When did
criteria.
she leave?
I mean,
When did she
again, she was
leave?
close. I mean, she was
When
knocking the door a couple of times. Hmm?
when did she leave? Like bodybuilding. You know what year? Like what
Well,
was her last
she did
year?
take. Well, she did come back in 2022, and she was competing as a women's lightweight. To me, she really downsized herself, to
Yeah.
try to fit in the women's lightweight division. She last competed as a full, well put together was back in 1999, and then she took those next 2000, 2001, and she came back in 2002, and she was like lesser size to herself she was before. I mean, I remember when I saw her, I said that can't be Linda Crevel. She looked so not as because she wanted to do women's lightweight, and and she dropped a lot of size and shape. Obviously
There
good amount of
were,
size to
there
do
were
that
other
division.
women. There were other women that was like that. Lisa, what's her name? Lisa Lewis. She was like that. She wanted to down. She wanted to reduce her size because she didn't really like her she didn't like her size big enough, big size. She reduced her size. That's the simple way. It wasn't no different than what you're saying about Laura Cravel, So yeah.
Well, we got to think about it. Lisa Lewis is a big woman, and it's harder for women for that size because Lisa Lewis standing at about 5'8", 5'10", and Laura was like as you heard in the commentary, she's like about 5'4". And women who are naturally bigger, it's harder to bring down that weight. If you're a smaller woman, it get easier for you. But
But she
she
didn't
really
like
put on
her
size at one
size.
time.
Like she felt that
I know
not
she
to
like her
cut you
size,
off.
but
She just didn't like it, cause I mean, yeah, cause they at that time, I think what's her name, Kim Travesky, she wanted to do that fitness division and stuff, and then I think Lisa Lewis, wanted to kind of follow the footstep of like being placed better, at that time. So
yeah, but with Kim Zvesi, with her going to fitness, she had a fitness background, and but then to me, I wish she just stayed out of the bodybuilding. Period. I mean, I could have respect for you when you were Miss Olympia. Then you come back doing another division. I just don't have. I'm not a big fan of Kim Zabesky. That's my personal opinion. We had a comment from man Caleb Hill. Hall. He says uh, sh- you should interview Ravit Bova. I would love to interview her, but it's up to her if she want to do an interview. Also, we have here from Kira says, I like Lee Carus. Kirus. I mean, yeah, we follow Lee, and we do. Me and both Kayla did interviews with her. I think she would make. I know she's focusing more on CrossFit, but I think she would make a great bodybuilder if she ever want to make that decision to jump back in. Shout out to Caleb. He says I like Rip Fixin. Oh, you're talking about Andrea Sauer. Also, he says, I'm a fan of Lisa Cross.
She
Yeah,
likes
Lisa Cross,
everybody,
amazing lady.
man. She likes he
She, she,
likes everybody. He's a fan of everybody. Just say that you're a fan of everybody.
yeah,
He
I mean,
always putting,
he's
like, I'm
doing like
getting
he's
on
like,
him because he always putting in the comments, I love female bodybuilders and stuff like that. So that's why, you know.
yeah, yeah. Everybody's a fan of her. Now, at the tail end, there was a young lady who had that. If she had, you know, came back, it was in '94, and she took second, and that was her pro debut. She did a couple of shows that year, plus Olympia, and she was close to get the title. And even probably if she came back, she probably could have beat Linda Murray that year. That is Denise Usaski. And Denise, is an amazing young lady. I mean, she competed for a good while. Finally got her Olympic qualification in '94. She turned pro, I think it was '93, and then she made a pro debut the next year. And she was just this. They call her the Golden Girl. She blonde, strong, beautiful physique. Great poser. I mean, I remember the suit, the golden suit. She wore it both here and she did the Jantana that year. And she's was just one of those ladies that had that great potential. Uh, Whatever happened, she was going through some stuff. Here she is up here with Linda and Laura. And just look at doing the shake, the quad shake. She had a beautiful physique, great look to her. I would think the judges would probably have picked her because she has that next, she kind of had that Linda Murray, Tanya Knight look to her. But my guess, particularly, and I think it affected her that she didn't get to her qualification and become Miss Olympia.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, she was a beautiful bodybuilder. She was like one of the faces I've seen growing up. You know, she was in a lot of magazines.
Yeah,
Mm.
I heard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what?
Denise is an interesting case. Yeah, I mean, considering what happened years later, I'm glad she's doing a lot better than she had before. I felt really sad what happened years later. What happened to her? I'm glad she's doing
Yeah,
a
she
lot
went through a
better.
lot of stuff. Yeah, she went through a lot of stuff, some mental issues, alcoholism. She was homeless, and just a while back, some friends set up a GoFundMe, and they found her a place. And here she is, as she did a couple of stuff. She did post stuff on social media.
Hi, I'm Denise Bukowski, former Miss Olympia runner-up.
Hi, everybody. My name is Kathy Merrill. I'm a friend of Denise Rakowski's. We are posting a story that encapsulates part of her journey. And I think Denise has something to say to everyone.
I just want to say thank you for all your donations and your thoughts and your prayers over the last few years. You made a big difference in my life. Thank you for just all y'all done. Thank you. Bye. Thank you. Hi, I'm Denise Bukowski.
She had it's great to see that she's doing a lot better now. She's getting help. She's working out. She's, really, she's changed her life. This is a recent of her in the gym. She's even helping people because even though she no longer compete and has competed for over, you know, my would say nearly 30 years, she still
Mm.
has that, understanding. I mean, she looks, in good shape because you got to think about it. She's in her uh, early 60s and she was living on the streets. She was homeless. She had, she looked like she's doing great. I mean, she just had a beautiful look to her, great physique. But now I'm glad that she's gotten the help she needs and she's really has made improvements in her life.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
We got here's some comments here. We got from a man. Shout out to my man. Rory says the current WWE competitors would have destroyed these '90s girls. Well, I wouldn't say so much destroyed, but again, if you think about it, you had Linda Murray, you have Vicky Gates, you had Laura Craval, you had Kim Zavesky, so many others. Destroyed probably because they're a lot bigger, but they will look more like women's physique that when it first started than what it is today. You know. Um, Shout out to my man here. Kara says, I wish I could find that vampire movie that Denise Messino did. I think a lot of guys want to see some stuff with Denise Messino. But as I say, talk about also, ladies, I mentioned Vicky Gates, and big fan of Vicky Gates. She had a great look to her. She most of the time Miss International competitor. She was from Texas. I know my dear friend Eunice knew her well back in the day. And I remember when she decided to step away bodybuilding because after it was like in around 2001 where she came close to getting the title, but then again politics. I think she was second in the heavyweight division. Some say she should have won that year and even had at least two Miss Olympia titles, one in 2000 and 2001. But again, it goes back to politics. And I've always been a fan of Vicky Gates. So I'm gonna put, she's just a great look to her. Also she was at one time she used to date and she was engaged to Ronnie Coleman. They both were single parents. He had a daughter, she had a daughter, and they used to always hang out and train together. Vicky was just a beautiful lady. And one person I think who kind of looks like her in a way is Mila Ash. So here she is, Vicky.
I could see the resemblance.
The heavyweight and overall titles go to Vicky Gates from Dallas, Texas, who wins the sum of $14,000. And despite being a heavyweight, Vicky still believes that she isn't over the top with her physique.
I feel like as long as I don't take it to the extreme, and like when I wear my clothes, you actually can't tell I have a lot of muscle. So I think as long as I can keep it to that level to where I wear clothes and you can't tell, I think I can actually get away with it unless I'm just unclothed like I am now.
I mean, she again.
I actually remember that documentary. Back when the Learning Champ or TLC, you like to call it.
Yeah, it was. I think it featured quite a few ladies. I think it was Rosemary Jennings, a couple others was in this documentary. She was a multiple-time Miss International competitor. A couple of times was close to the title. I mean, she had a great look to her. I mean, again, one of my favorites. I mean, this is from Weird Physique World. They did a lot of video stuff like that. She did a lot of posing and a lot of cupcake stuff, I would say. I mean, she just had a great look to her about it. I mean, that's why I see, again, I see some similarity between her and Mila Ash, especially in the eyes. I was next to Laura Craval. Vicky Gates was one of my favorites, my all-time favorites.
Yeah, she got this Caribbean look for some reason. Just looking at her.
Yeah, she does. Very, very island. As you know, this is her with her then fiance, the 8-time Mr. Olympia, Ronnie Coleman. Yeah, they were a great couple. They were a power couple, but they never, tied a knot. I think Ronnie married somebody else later, and then she moved on. She even promoted a show. She had her own show in Texas, I think Kate's Classic. But she was just one of those amazing ladies. Here she is with the future Miss Olympia, Iris Kyle. And Iris, you can see these are just two amazing women. It's just great muscle, great density. I mean, to me, Vicky, should have been a Miss Olympia during her career.
Yeah, I can see the density. Yeah, maybe.
Here we got a comment from this is Randy. He says, "I won't be that interested until Mary Denham gets qualified next year." Well, as you know, Mary Damon, aka Miss Beefy, is actually competing. She's going to be doing North Americans which is going to be the 1st of September. And we cross our fingers and hope she does well. I mean, I'm a big fan of Mary, and she's been a guest on both me and KL's channel. We hear,
Who's Mary?
well, you know, it's Miss Beefy.
I'd never heard of her. Is she new? Is she a newcomer or?
What she just finally made her bodybuilding debut last year, and she's planning on competing. Um, this
Maybe show a
this
picture of her. Maybe.
well, I'm thinking to pull some up. Mary, let's see, it says Mary Fitness. She's give me a moment. So I can find something I can pull. Oh yeah, here it is. Mary, she just posted stuff on her social media. I kind of see her kind of like, if you look at her, I see kind of a slightly semblance to Ashley Alicia Young. I would say, she's, maybe because she's short and she's very well developed. Mary's a young lady who's determined. She's coming in. She's really working on conditioning. That's one thing I think most definitely she needs to work on, because, condition is very important. She's been through a lot. A while back she had a heart attack, and because of that kind of set her back a little bit. She was hoping to make her, her competitive debut a couple of years ago, and then she was working with another coach who it didn't really mesh with her. But Mary has a great personality about her. I mean, again, she is attractive young lady. She has a nice build to her. I mean,
Yeah, her biceps are amazing.
Yeah, look, not bad so far. I wish her luck. Wish her luck.
yeah. So she's going to be doing North Americans, and possibly, depending on how it looks, I think she might get a pro card. But anyway, back to the subject at hand. So, guys, now we have some comments here. Shout out to, again, this is from Randy, says she's just a good friend of mine. Oh, okay, cool. Also, you have Jeff. He's back. Jeff says, I know Denise Messino or Lisa Cross. All right, that's cool. And also, he says this. He says, Robert Bova, I would love to interview Caleb Hall. Well, we hope maybe in the future you get the opportunity. Another lady whose name's popped up, who actually, she came close. Because back in, as you know, 1 year the first time they ever did Miss Olympia out of the country was when we went to Prague, and that was in '98. That was the year when Kim was a champion. And that was Yolanda Hughes, who came close to get a title. Yolanda had a great look to her, amazing body, just beautiful complexion, skin. Just also she had a great background with the aerobics gymnastics, and that she really had a great routine. Right. I know I interviewed one of her clients, Sarah, a while back, because that's when she told me that, this is her, one of the most recent pictures of Yolanda. She looks great. I know a few years ago she got married and she moved to Germany for a while. She lived there with her husband, got divorced. Now she's living back in the States. I think she lives in Arizona. And she's coaching. This is Sarah Pashanon, and I interviewed Sarah last year. If Sarah does figure. But Yolanda had a great look to her, and also she had a great skill set. She was very well-rounded acrobat.
Yeah, Yolanda was cool.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, here she is. She's one of the few women to do. She was cutting flips and stuff that. And this was, I think it was '93 or '94. She's very entertaining. She has a great posing routine. She's doing the moonwalk. Lucky she has oil on her that she can move a lot better. But she had a great physique to her. She was close to the title in '98, and she did compete in '99. Then after that, she retired from bodybuilding. Just beautiful chocolate sister. I'm a fan of hers. I mean, I found this while I was, as you know, on Denise Messina, it's Denise Rosowski's site, and it's from, I think it's from the last, I think it was maybe 92, 93. Just it just got posted. I saw it this afternoon, where she is. That's, you see Denise, you see Yolanda, that's Kim, David Mugley, and also Sharon Benoit. And this is the one for, where is it? It was, there it is. Right here. Taking its time. Very talented, skilled woman. Yeah, the great Yolanda Hughes. As you know, again, she's living her life, enjoying coaching and training. Uh, Shout out to Jeff, says Miss Beefy should compete. Well, she already competed last year. She's making her shooting for Olympic qualification. She's actually shooting for a pro qualification in a couple of months. So so there's so many ladies that competed over the years and over time. We're not going to spend too much time on it, but name a couple ladies you thought, in your opinion, was close to getting a title. So with you, Alex.
That's okay. I'm trying to figure out. I already talked about. Actually, I talked about someone around the mid. I'm trying to think of some competitor back in the 2000, like during the 2000s decade, like the early years. Into, it was kind of close. I don't see but no see and I'm trying to remember. There were like so many comparisons. I'm trying to remember who was close that year. See if I can
Right, so many ladies that are close. As you know, back in 2012, 2013, those ladies was very close. I got to meet her personally, and that is Alina Popa. And Lena was close to the title. Some say that she should have been Miss Olympia, uh, but Iris was just so dominant. You know, some would always blame Iris for the reason why women's bodybuilding went away from the Olympia. But again, it goes back to the judges. They're the ones who set the criteria. They're the ones who set the standard. If you wanted a certain woman that fit the criteria, who had a great muscle and great femininity, why not Alina Popa? I mean, she had here she is with my girlfriend. Shout out to her. I mean, shout out to both Alina and Andrea. I mean, she had a great look to her. Originally from Romania. Now she's working as a promoter for shows.
especially
You
the
know,
especially the Lena Popa Classic. I'm actually glad they actually created this contest in dedication to her. That is pretty impressive.
yeah. I mean, she also does the Romania Muscle Fest, which is coming up about this time, the end of the year. It's her home country, Romania. Alina had a great look to her. I mean,
Yeah,
I mean,